ESBN. You know it, folks, the Esports Broadcasting Network. Yours truly, Byron Rodney, sitting in the air chair tonight, bringing you action live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Are we running the Indy 500? No, folks, we're not. Bet you didn't know it, but guess what? There is a road course in there. We have a road course, and we're bringing you action from the Top Fuel Indy Series. Once again, my name is Byron Rodney. I'm in the air chair, sitting here for ESBN, bringing you the live broadcast. Sorry, our normal broadcaster, Mr. Tony Trapasso, we send out get well wishes to you. Hope to see you soon. We have a championship race going on here, folks. Top four sitting in points in this thing. Mr. Scott Brinson. He's leading the pack. 4 points behind Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth. I look for a tight race going on back in that pack. In fact, I don't even see Jeff. I see Jeff out there on the track. Keith Mayotta bringing up the third position. With Paul Crumrine in a distant fourth. Are we going to have a shake-up of points tonight? We're going to have whoever bringing up what's going to happen? We don't know. Fuel strategy, tire strategy. It's the Indy road course, folks. It's all going to play into what happens. And then there is the great equalizer. The all-encompassing, what can I say, caution flag. Bringing you the action from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the road course. It's a busy bit of the road course. And just to let you know, it's kind of a tight little deal there, because you take a look down in that camera, there's the front straight. Normally you see them going from the bottom of your screen to the top. But we're running this Indy road course. They're going to be coming from the top of your screen to the bottom there, folks. So focus in on some drivers and take a look to see who's sitting up here in our poll. We got qualifying going on. We're wrapping up qualifying. Guys are sitting out there trying to see what's up on the grid. Sitting on top of that qualifying. Wow, holding down a smoking lap. Mr. Rick Ravon in the 44. There you go, folks. There's a good view of him coming down that front straight the opposite direction from where you see him. Then it's a quick right hand followed by a series of left, right, as they work that infield complex. It's a busy track. Normally, I'm talking about, let's say aerodynamics, you know, the wind on the wings, so to speak. Guys running different lines in the corners to get that downforce traction to put that extra weight on those tires to hold them faster. But we don't have that tonight. It's road course racing, folks. So you're not going to see them running those lines. What you're going to be doing is watching to see, you know, who's going to, you know, basically blink first coming into the corner. And as I'm talking about it, look who just jumped right back up on the pole, Mr. Keith Mayotta, turning in a blistering lap. 1 minute and 11 seconds. 1:11.806, folks. That's what's holding the pole down here. 1 minute and 11 around the road course. That's a fun little deal to do. Let's see, Mr. Hollingsworth out there. Nope. Chrissy out there. As qualifying's coming to a close. Chris Walker looking to put down another good lap. Oh, here them tires just a little bit. Yep, qualifying's coming to an end as everyone's vacating the track. Driver meeting happening. Guys getting their final instructions from race control. Taking a look at the weather today. Out there, 77 degrees outside here in Indianapolis. Track temp, a little warmer at 85. We see some cloud cover out there, folks. We'll see if that tends to want to change things for them. Let that track cool down. Cool down track equals better traction. Tires will get a little more grippy, a little more sticky. The goodie lasts a little longer. There, folks, you can see the line on that infield road course, the lefts and rights as they work them, and you can see the rubber already laid down on the track from practice and qualifying. I was talking with some drivers earlier tonight, and tire wear is going to be an issue. Fuel run looks to be around between 18 and 20 laps. I don't know if anyone will be able to stretch it 20. 19 seemed to be the distance, so whoever's going to blink first, bring it in. We're bringing you a race tonight. It's going to be 55 laps of the road course here at Indy, and qualifying seems to be over with as the drivers start to grid up. They take that green flag. They'll take their pace lap around the track. We'll follow them around. Your starting grid tonight looks to be sitting on the pole, Mr. Keith Maiato. He's going to be rolling off next to Rick Raybon, who qualified second. You have to forgive me, folks. I lost track of my... oh, there it is. Chris Samard's going to take the green flag in the third position, followed by my co-worker up here at ESBN, our fellow broadcaster and founding member of the Esports Broadcasting Network, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Jeff Webker going to roll off fifth. Scotty Brinson in the sixth position. Scotty, you know, I've been watching him race. He's a quiet one. He will quietly lay there. He's going to stay off of the radar, you know, and just but always look for him towards the end there. Starting at seventh will be Paul Jourdain, followed by Chris Walker in the eighth position. Ninth will be Michael Jeans. Rounding out your top 10, Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth, Mr. number 2 in points. Mr. only 4 points behind Mr. Scotty Brinson. Look for the race inside the race, folks. You know, there's some road course drivers in here that are going to be really good. The race inside the race is going to be, going to be in between Scotty and Jeff. You know, or something happens with him. Keith Maiato is only lurking 27 points behind, which is not that far, ladies and gentlemen. Not that far at all. Rolling off in the 11th position, the 88 car, Paul Crumry, followed by the number, well, I can't see his numbers, Kevin O'Brien. Starting 13th to be Jeff Sharp. Chris Bahan starting from the 14th position. Cameron Bostain in the 15th. Mike Randy in 16th. Johnny Antonucci, another name I know familiar, starting off the 17th. Jeff Clark in the 18th. 19th, Timothy Bates. Mr. Sage Karam. Wow, that's, that is a, wow, I'm usually seeing him up in the front. This is going to be my driver to watch tonight, folks. He is a great road course driver. I look for Sage to, he's going to take the field from the 20th position. I look for him to move his way up. There'll be our driver to watch. We'll check in with him every now and then. Starting 21st, Damon Martinez, followed by Dylan Moskowitz in the 22nd position. Brandon Stokes in the, I don't see him out on track yet, but he has the 23rd. Mr. Ron Holyfield holding down the 24th. And bringing up the field is shotgun, Mr. Mock Walker, 25th. As the cars work their way around the infield, we'd be looking for that pace car to take its, normally I'd say, left-hand turn into the pit lane. But tonight, folks, when they get up on that front stretch coming down the opposite direction, that's a right-hand turn for the green flag. Your field working around the infield complex some more. Right-handers, left-handers. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a run. We got a full field, 25 drivers tonight, folks. Going to be taking the green flag here when we come around. Coming to it, watch the pace car take that right-hand turn into its pits. Well, after we make another right-hand turn. Been a while since I run the Indy road course, folks. Here we come, coming around the turn, what would be 1-2 complex Indy, but it's the final turns here. There goes the pace car, taking that right-hand turn into pit lane. Scotty Brinson holds the trigger, holding them down. Green flag waves, and off they go, folks. We have started Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course racing. See if everyone safely makes it into that first turn. And no, we have some off tracks. Mr. Scotty Brinson being one of them, folks. It could be championship implications there. Scotty gets her righted back up on the track. Oh, another off track. Folks, what happened? As they all start to settle out, start working a single file around there, Scotty, oh, off the track again. We must be having some connection issues or some controller issues. That could play big into the championship. Back under the caution, folks, so we can get this thing gathered up. We're going to pull the trigger one more time. Let's go back and see if we can see what happened there with Scotty. We'll back it on up and see what happened off of that start. Mr. Brinson right there. Hold him down about the... Watching him work those turns. Did he get bumped off? Oh! Sam Cooper Bennett got spun and Scotty had nowhere to go. There's a bunch of cars off into the sand trap there, making it off, and then just no grip on the tires or controller issues, wreck avoidance. Scotty doesn't want to tear up that fast repair too soon. He is going to have to do something. It looks like he might have some front wing damage. Yep, we are missing part of a front wing. He might have to use that fast repair soon. Bringing it back live. As a matter of fact, there is our points leader, Scotty Brinson, bringing it pit side, going for the repair. Scotty Brinson, Chris Behan. Looked like Chris had to tow into the pits. Timothy Bates. Scotty with a little connection issue. Yeah, Chris, he towed in. Scotty, he hits it. Does he take that fast repair, folks, or does he sit and pit farm this thing? It looks like he takes that fast repair, but adds that front wing. He'll have to be very careful for the rest of this race. Rolling back up to the front of the field, Mr. Keith Maiato is leading them down under caution, followed by the 44 driver, Rick Ravon. Chris Simard, he's bringing up, bring that pit timer back out of here. Chris Simard holding down that third spot. Jeff Webker fourth. Chris Walker in the fifth position. Ladies and gentlemen, when we started this broadcast, I always pick a driver to watch, and I noticed that there was a driver started, oh my God, way back in the back, Mr. Sage Karam. If you kind of take a look at where he's sitting there, folks, started 20th, currently 6th. Excellent race of, avoidance, or just, worked it that 1/2 lap. There he was. Working lap 2 of 55 under the caution. Focusing back up onto the leader, I see the lights are still on the pace car. So we're going to be doing one more lap around before we pick it back up to green. Actually, 2 more laps. We're finishing this lap. The lights should go out, and then they should take the green the next time around. Caution laps at a road course, folks, are a little long. So let's take a look at this message, and we'll be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Back live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, folks. Completing the caution lap, getting ready to come back around to take that green flag. Focusing in on the field, still sitting under caution, still sitting in single file. I don't know if we had single file restarts on or if we were rolling double. Keith Maiato still leading them around. We'll see what happens here as the pace car comes off of that last corner. See if it makes its duck into pit lane. As it does, Keith Maiato holding him down, looking for the green flag. Hammered down, green flag on. Time to mash the loud pedal and let's get it on. Keith Maiato leading him down. Rick Ravon holding down the second spot. Chris Simard right behind him. Let's see if we can all make it around for turn 1-2 complex here. Oh yeah. Left hand, right hand, left hand. Working into that infield. Remember, that arrow's not going to be so dependent on that track. Guys will be able to hold the same line, one right behind the other in the corners and through those turns. But folks, like I told you, it's going to be who blinks first. Am I going to get on the brakes before you, or are you going to get on them before me? Can I drive it in deeper? Do I got enough brake to hold it? Do I got enough tire left to hold it? Coming around, lap, finishing off the working lap number 4 of 55. Keith Maiato holding him down. Rick Ravon holding a strong second, being challenged by Maiato's teammate, Chris Simard. Maiato legging it out to a 1.0 second gap. That's what 1 second looks like from the road course. As we bring her back out on the main track, we roll what it was, turn 1 and 2. We're working 3 and 4 now. Bringing it down the front stretch. It is so weird seeing these cars roll the front stretch the opposite way. It's road course racing, folks. We got to turn that steering wheel. Mr. Keith Maiato still holding down the lead. If you folks want to see what it's like to work the infield in here, you can go to the GoPro that we mounted on the top of Keith's roll bar. See what it's like to go around the infield here at Indy. .133 on the infield straight, up to 150, 160, hard on the binders, downshift to that's cooking through a corner, folks. Let me tell you, being inside the car and driving this thing, the corners are a hell of a lot sharper than they look on broadcast. Let me tell you. Keith Maiato brings it out to the traditional track, rolls it out to top gear. 175 mile an hour into that corner, folks. Brings her out on the straight, and then it's going to be real hard on the binders and downshifting for that hard right-hand turn into turn 1. Turn 1, 2, 3. You can see him get a little loose, a little on the twitch there. It's a fun course to race. Tell you the honest truth, folks, after this broadcaster finishes this broadcast, he just may load himself up a test session on old iRacing and go out and try it himself. Keith Maiato still holding down the field with Rick Ravon behind him. Chris Simard, Jeff Webker, and Sage Karam roll out your top 5. Looks like we got a bit of a battle back here with Mr. Karam. He's rolling behind Jeff Webker. You know, I talked about guys that were kind of quiet on the track. You wouldn't see them too much. Remember that first lap incident with several off tracks? We saw one of my drivers to watch, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. He had an off track in contact in that. There he is, worked his way back up to the 15th position. But guys, there's championship implication. Oh, Sam making the move on Jeff Hollingsworth. What's up, Mike Randy? There goes Jeff. Remember what I talked about championship implications? Scotty's got your points lead, followed by Jeff Hollingsworth, only 4 points behind. Well, there's Jeff rolling around the track on the infield. Who is that car right in front of him? Well, if he looks out to his front cockpit, oh, That'll be Jeff Sharp because Mr. Scotty Brinson, remember I said he quietly works his way up the field. He was in that first lap incident, went in, took his fast repair by the looks of it, worked his way back up to the 10th position, cracked back into the top 10. Mr. Scotty Brinson sporting the ESBN across the rear tail of that car. And look who's right behind him in P11. There would be my friend, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, rolling a car that we affectionately call Ruby, after the paint job that we laid on it when we ran the 24 at Daytona. Not in this car, folks, but in another car, rolling Ruby around that track. Rolling back up to the front of the field, Mr. Keith Maiato, sitting up there in that top spot. Coming around back out onto the main course of what would be turn 3 and 4, back around to the start-finish line. You see some guys already taking up on pit road there. What do we get sitting on the pits? Paul Crumry, he's in there. Mark Walker, he must have, he's been in the pits for a while. He's either towing in, folks, or he's got some damage. He's pit farming out of there. We're working lap 9 of 55. This is starting to count down pretty quick. This is starting to count down pretty quick. Like crazy. Mr. Keith Maiato leading him out. Rick Ravon in your second position. You can see what 1.5 seconds looks like on this road course, folks, because that car out in front of Rick, that's your leader. Remember my driver to watch at the beginning? He started 20th in this thing. Well, look at that. He's working up on to start trying to close the gap between him and Mr. Rick Ravon. 3.2 seconds separates him right now. Your fourth driver, Chris Samard, Keith Maiato's teammate, seems to be losing a little bit of ground. He's fell back to 4th place, followed in 5th by Jeff Wubker. As we work back out onto the fast portion of the track, looking at Jeff working on the inside of Damon. Is he going to take that position? Oh, he lost that position. Damon Martinez getting by him. Keith Maiato holding a 2.5 lead out there on the track. Rick Ravon trying to cut into it, just holding steady at one point at 1.5 seconds behind. Sage Karam 3 seconds behind Rick Ravon. Folks, your top 5 separated by 7 seconds, stretched out on the track already. Guys have been out there. The leaders, your top 8 in the race have been out there on the whole time. They didn't bring it pit side. Scotty Brinson brought it in. Sam Cooper Bennett brought it in, but they've got 2 and 3 laps less on their tires, respectively. And I remember tire wear is an issue here. You've lost half of your effective tire life here. A lot of your grip, and all of the life of your grip at the end of a fuel run. And I know that a fuel run was working. They said about, said we had about 17 to 19 laps. I don't think anyone can make 20 under race conditions, but after the caution we had, we might see them stretch it out to 20, possibly 21, depending on if they were working that clutch through the caution laps, saving fuel as much as possible, or if they're rolling off that throttle early. We'll find out soon, because the top 8 on that track now, they're going to have to blink in the next 8 laps or so. We should see green flag stops hitting if we stay green about lap 20. Oh! Off track back there. Looks like our leaders are already starting to work lap traffic. And the lap cars, you know, trying to be respectful, getting the heck out of their way. That was Jeff Clark back there. You've seen him taking off course, avoiding oncoming traffic. They know that there's a race within the race, folks. They know that there's a championship battle and points on the line. You know, and being respectful like that, that speaks a lot to, it speaks an awful lot to the character, to the way those drivers are. First car lap down would be Mr. Johnny Antonucci as he brings it in pit side. Which will be Jeff Clark, your first car, 1 lap down. Bringing her back up to the front of the field. It looks like, yeah, we're working more and more lap traffic. I see more guys taking that 1 lap down on my scoring sheet. Keith Mayauto leading him around. Rick Rabon, he's chopped about half of that lead. That 1.5 seconds is down to 0.7, folks. Rick being an absolutely ice-cold driver. Rick being that one guy that he's not going to cut you any slack, but he's going to race you hard. He's not going to race you dirty, but he's going to wait for you to make that mistake to bring you up. You know, it's all about who makes that mistake, and that overtaking car can get around him. Sage Karam, he seems to be losing a little bit of ground. He's probably having to deal with lap traffic, and that's why he's falling, you know, 3 seconds back behind Rick Rabon. But he's holding down a strong 3rd place. And guys have got to make that pit stop. Guys have got to come in green flag stop. Strategy's going to play into it. Tires, most definitely. I think everyone will take fuel and 4. These cars are quick to get fuel and 4 in and out. As we roll green around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, Big Byron here in the broadcast booth. ESBN bringing you the action live for Top Fuel Racing Network. Take a look back to our points leader, Mr. Scotty Brinson. He's just holding down that 9th spot, slowly, quietly, off the radar. He's sneaking up that leaderboard. Quietly, I look for him to be up there at the end. Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth, 3 positions behind him. Jeff looks to be, just 12 seconds back behind the points leader. Is your 2nd place leader. Keith Mayauto making the most that he can out of his lead on this race, trying to make the most out of points. Laps wanted really rolling off the clicker pretty quick, folks. Working lap 14 now of 55. As watching your race leader go around the infield portion of the track. Right-hander, left-hander, right-hander. You can see the back end of that car kind of step out, folks. And like I was telling you, tire wear is key around here. You'll see it step out. He doesn't have the traction that he used to have. He's been out there for 14 straight laps, folks. Those tires are screaming, "Get me off of here." And the driver inside the car is screaming, "Get me fresh shoes." Take a look at your top 10, the way they sit on the track. Keith Mayauto holding down that 1st spot, followed closely by Rick Rabon. Rick must have had a little bit of a bobble. He's falling off the pace there. He's 2.5 seconds back of the leader. Sage Karam right there behind Rick. He's working on Rick slowly but surely, trying to close that gap. He's under 2 seconds behind now. Damon Martinez rolling in the 4th spot. Chris Samard bringing up 5th. That's Keith Mayauto's teammate. We'll see if those guys are going to work back to the front together, see what they can do. Jeff Webker holding down the 6th spot behind him. Chris Walker in 7th. Coming around that corner. Paul Bourdain moved up to the 8th spot. And Scotty Brinson holding down 9th. And ladies and gentlemen, rolling the track in Ruby, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett holding down your top 10. Just waiting to see when guys are going to start bringing their pit side. Johnny Antonucci's been in the pits. Looks like he's been there for a little bit. Chris Bayham with a 4-minute pit stop. So, yeah, there was some damage out there. He's farming some damage. Oh! Who was that went around? That looked like Mr. No, it wasn't Johnny. Yep, Dylan Moskowitz. Haven't seen Dylan in this league before. I know Dylan by reputation. I know him from other leagues. He's a pretty good oval car driver. Road courses, maybe not quite his forte, but yeah, he looped it around on the infield there. Dylan doing his best to stay out of the leader's ways. You know, see if he brings her around pit side or if he takes it. Yep, bring it to pit side. Going to fix any damage he has. I don't know if he used his fast repair or not. Don't know if he is just going to pit farm it, but being respectful as he can be to the race within the race, the points of the leaders of the race and the points leaders in the race. Dylan making a run here, his debut at the top. I don't know if it's his debut or not, but I'm going to call it his debut here at Top Fuel Racing. Rolling back up to the front, Mr. Keith Mayato. Looks like he's coming up on more lap traffic. That's Cameron Bostaine holding down that spot in front of him. Cameron doing his best to stay on that lead lap. He sees Keith coming. I don't look for Cameron to move over for him. I don't look for Cameron to be Mr. Nice Guy. You know, if you don't want to go a lap down, you don't have to. You're racing to stay on that lead lap. We'll see what Keith can do with it. Want to see what a pass looks like here? Let's roll back onto Keith's cam and see what it looks like. See if he makes it. Yep, he goes wide around Cameron. Hard onto the binders. Hard onto the binders. Brings her around the corner, and you can see him, Cameron, hold it back far into the distance. Some class driving going on here at the road course, folks. Still waiting to see if our leaders, when they're going to blink. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to bring her pit side first? 17 laps we're working on, lap 17 of 55. Scotty Brinson still holding it strong out there. Keith Mayato. We're going to see who's going to blink first. Which one of our leaders is going to be bringing it pit side? As we see more lap traffic right there in front of Keith. That would be the number 52 machine of Mike Grandy, sorry. He moves over to the inside of the track. Keith moves over to the inside, catch a bit of the draft, slingshot himself down that front straight. Yeah, the draft is real in these cars, folks. It does work. That's where that aero downforce on them wings is going to help. You get someone cutting the air in front of you, they're going to draft and suck right up. But then it's into the right hand, left hand, right hand portion of the track. Working lap 18 of 55. I'm just wondering how far they're going to go. I know we had that early race caution. That might have given him an extra lap of fuel. Second place. Look who moved into second. That would be the orange purple paint job of Mr. Sage Karam. That was my driver to watch on this thing. Hey, Keith, someone knocking on your front door. Rick Ravon, them tires must be giving up on him. He was laying down some blistering laps in qualifying, but we're on a fuel run, folks. Tires are worn. Oh, Rick. Boy, hard on the binders to not get into the back. Now hard on the gas to the straightaway portion. Working it around. Our leader just took the start-finish line on his 19th lap. Now, I know a fuel run on these things is about 19 laps. We'll see how far that caution gives him before he has to duck in for fuel. Full tank of Go Fast and 4-round Feel Goods shoes, as we call them. Ooh, getting a little squirrely in the infield portion of the track. Let's see if he takes that pit lane exit this time around when he comes back by. Bringing it down the infield straightaway. Coming up to that quick left-hander. Followed by the quick right-hander and another quick left-hander. Folks, you're riding in this cockpit, you're a busy driver, let me tell you. Brings it out to the main portion of the track. Traditionally what we would call turns 1 and 2, but we're going 2 and 1. See if he brings her pit side. Ladies and gentlemen, no, he's going to roll it another lap. Your top 7 out there rolling. Your top 7 out there stretching it out on their 20th lap. Scotty Brinson, remember, he brought up pit side in that early caution. He's got 2 less laps on his fuel tank, 2 less laps on his tires. He can stretch it out. Taking a look at Scotty as he rolls on by. Brings it on out to the fast portion of the track. He's 38 seconds behind the leader. Trying to work his way back up. He's in the 8th position. He hasn't loaded it together yet. Mr. Keith Mayato bringing it around the infield. Sage Karam hot on his heels, 3 seconds back. Another 2 seconds back to Damon Martinez. He took the 3rd spot. Rick Ravon fading, folks. I don't know what's up with my man Rick. Those tires must be, he must have been working some traffic pretty heavy and scrubbed the feel good right off of them. Heated them up. You have to back off for a lap or 2, folks, to cool them down and get traction back in them at this stage. Electing to stay on the track again. Who we got in the pit? Chris Walker bringing it in. Paul Jourdain bringing it in. Johnny Antonucci, he's either parked it for the night, still there. He's got a lot of mandatory repair after that second one. Wants to bring it back out and get some more track time out there. Paul Jourdain with a 9.4 second stop. Roll back out. Go back up to our leader, Keith Mayato. Coming up on lap traffic again. Mr. Chris Walker right dead in front of him. As we see Chris there. Jeff Hollingsworth holding down that 12th spot. We've got to be seeing Keith want to bring this thing pit side. You've got to think he's getting a little hungry for some fuel and some tires. 21 laps out there, folks. Stretching it out really good. We're coming up to almost halfway, so if he pits it now, 19 more laps, guess what? You got another stop you got to make, my friend. As he elects to take pit road. Here we go, leader, pit road. As your top 2 bring it in, top 3 bring it in. Top 4 bring it in. Rolling that stop in. Let's see how fast these stops are, folks. 4 tires and a tank of fuel. Sage Karam already hit his spot. He's got that 20th spot way back there. 9.2 seconds, Sage is out. Let's keep our eyes on Keith there. You should see Sage just keep getting ready to pass him by. Keith Mayato pulls out, and guess what? I'll bet you the camera shot's going to show Mr. Sage Karam right behind him, rolling second. All right, Keith, you got your work to do. Full tank of fuel. 4 fresh feel goods. Off and running like a herd of turtles, as they say. It'll take him a lap or so to get those tires up to temperature. It'll be a little sketchy for him on the track until he gets them up to temperature. We'll have to wait for pit cycles to finish to see who is going to finish out on this thing. Because if you take a look who's in 3rd position right now. Mr. Scotty Brinson. Now he's on his 20th lap on those tires. But he's got to be losing lap time to those 2 in front of him, Keith Mayato and Sage Karam, as they have fresh rubber, full tank. We see and hear guys locking them up all around this course. Scotty, you coming home to pits on this roll? Let's see. Here comes your points leader, folks, in the Top Fuel Racing League here. Scotty Brinson bringing her pit side. Looking for 4 tires and fresh feel goods. Let's see where he cycles out at. Because your leader made the pass. Oh, drove it in too hard. Keith Mayato got back in around him. Let's take a look at that again. Sage Karam in second. Look at him. He'll make that move. He drafts on up to the back of Keith Mayato. Ducks to the inside. Looks for turn 1. Just drove it in a little too hard. Got on the binders a little too hard. Drifted it around, and Keith was able to just swap spots right back again. Sage is going to have a little bit of more work to do, but you know what? My driver to watch, I think we're going to be able to ask him about that move on lap 23. On that turn 1 where he first took that lead for a moment. I'm going to make a note right here in my little notepad. If he makes a podium finish and we have an interview, folks, we'll ask him about that. Scotty Brinson back out on the race course. Cycled out only 9 seconds back from 7th place. 42 seconds, staying out for 2 more laps might have hurt him a little bit. 42 seconds behind your leader, Keith Maiato. Now, when you're turning laps around this track at about 1:12, well, hey, that's, you know, 2/3 of the way around the track. You got to make up. That's a lot of real estate. But like I said, the caution is a great equalizer. We could have something, a big catastrophic event that'll happen. I think it's local area cautions only here on the road course, but if there's a caution that gets thrown for one reason or another, that's a great equalizer, and that'll bring it all back up, folks. As we watch your leader, Keith Maiato, take the infield. Left, right, right, left, left, right, right, left, right, left. I lose track of it. You're busy inside. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, driving this car, you can work up a sweat. Simulator or not, you are working that car. Keith Maiato holding down your top spot, top 10. We take a look at them as they cycled off of their pit cycles. Everyone's been in. Keith Maiato holding down your top spot, followed by Sage Karam. Damon Martinez in the 3rd spot, and Rick Ravon, here you can see him all the way back, 14 seconds off of the lead. He's got 10 seconds to make up to get back to P3. I look to see, we'll check in with Rick a little later in the race, see if we can catch him. Chris Samard, there he is, coming down in the 5th position, followed by Jeff Wubker and Chris Walker. Looks like we're going to have a tight little battle right there. Chris just works right up onto the tail of him there under braking. Like I told you, it was who can brake and hold it. Looking at your 8th spot, there goes Mr. Scotty Brinson, points leader in there. Jeff Hollingsworth was only 4 points behind him. Jeff Hollingsworth a lap down. He's the 2nd car a lap down there behind Jeff Sharp. Jeff holding down that 13th position. Taking a look back up to your leaders, Mr. Keith Maiato. Sage Karam working behind him, 2.5 seconds. It looks like that pass for the lead, but I've told Sage there, or Sage as they call him, to hold it down there, you know. Maybe he scrubbed a little too much goodie off the tires, and Keith's hitting his marks and stretching it out. Sage is keeping him in his sights. It's going to be a race towards the end, as we're working lap 26 of 55, coming up on halfway. Tonight's race going to be a close one. We focus back in on your leader, coming back around, working the turn 1-2 complex of Indianapolis Motor Speedway, coming down that straightway the opposite way I'm used to seeing them. Down hard on the gears, hard right turn, followed by a left, a right, another right. It's road course racing, folks. We'll be right back. Back with you live, Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Working the road course. Halfway, one lap over halfway as we watch your leader, Keith Mayato, leading him around out onto the traditional turn 1-2, but they're doing turn 2-1. Holding it out there. 7 laps on this current stint. Now, if I do the math, 12 more, that'll make 41, 42. So we have one more stop in store for everyone, folks. We have one more stop for the money stop. Taking a look at our top 10 while we were away, things have kind of changed a little bit. If you take a look at that top 10, Keith Mayato, we're riding along with him there. He's still holding down that top spot. But look behind him, folks. Damon Martinez, he got around my driver to watch, Mr. Sage Karam. I'm wondering if Sage didn't do a little bit of damage to the car, or if he didn't roast off those tires or lock them up and flat spot him on that dive into turn 1. He's holding down your third spot. Rick Ravon, 15 seconds back behind Sage. He's holding down P4 all on his own because it's another 12 seconds back to your 5th place driver, Chris Samar. Jeff Webker holding down 6th. Chris Walker, Michael Jeans, Paul Jourdain. And ladies and gentlemen, onto the pit lane. Making an early visit. Must have caught some damage. Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett and Ruby. Let's see if we can't see what we can see on the high-flying, reverse-flying, high-speed drone. Sam bringing it pit side for a reason. Let's see that drone follow him around. Oh, through his spot, lock him up. 4 tires. Well, maybe Sam working some strategy. Maybe he knows a little something that nobody else does. Still got 25 laps to go. Can't make it on a thing of fuel. Let's follow Sam from his GoPro in the nose as he takes her around the road course. You can see there's no banking in these turns, folks. Off into the grass a little bit. Cold tires, Sam. Keep her under control. We got to warm those tires up before they catch that grip. So he brings her around the left-hander. Double left-hander. Hit that apex, right-hander. Onto the infield straight. Up onto the roll bar GoPro. You can see how busy these drivers are, folks. It's a little series of left hands, right hands, and you got to get these tires warmed up for them to grip just right. And here we go, out onto the straight on the fast part of the track. Still with going in and out of the pits. He's 1 lap down, but holding down, locking down that 12th position. Jeff Hollingsworth just coming into the infield section there as Sam was coming up onto the long straightaway. Ooh, someone looped it, lost it, and towed in real quick. Who could that have been? Must have been Jeff Clark. Give our second place points driver there a little bit of a, I might have pooed myself moment. Going back up to the front of the pack. Keith Mayato still holding them down. Your top 5, Keith Mayato, followed closely. Damon Martinez, only 1.8 seconds back. Another 2 seconds back behind Damon, you'll find Sage Karam holding down the 3rd spot. And then it is a distant 18 seconds back to Mr. Rick Ravon, holding down that 4th in a strong fashion because he's got another 18 seconds back behind him before you find Chris Samard holding down P5. So we've stretched it out. There's 40 seconds in between your top 5 drivers, folks. I have got 8 drivers still on the lead lap. Local cautions in effect here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rolling the infield now. Road course racing, folks. We don't throw a full course caution unless there's a giant mess And you saw one on the start of the race, guys just getting all over each other going into turn one. Someone said, no, I'm not going to brake, you brake. Okay, well, I'll use you for brakes. So I'll guarantee you there was some bent feelings and bent cars on that one. Bringing her back up to your leader, Mr. Keith Mayato, as he enters it into turn one. Right-hander, left-hander, followed by a double right-hander. You get the rhythm of the track down after being out there so much. You hit your marks. You know when to get into the gas. You know when to not get into it. You know where your braking point is, and you know where you need to shift at to keep it optimum. Talking about our points battle, folks. There's your second place driver, Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth. And if you take a look 15 seconds behind him, there goes Mr. Scotty Brinson. Scotty looks like he took it in. Scotty's working some strategy, folks. We got 23 laps left to go. He was in the pits 3 laps ago. So maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he's expecting something I do not know. Leaders, everyone on the lead lap looks to be out there on 11, 12 lap old tires. Scotty out there with only 4 lap old tires. He was in there. Maybe he's repairing some damage. Doing everything he can to hold down that points lead. He's just got to finish ahead of Jeff Hollingsworth, or score a little bit more points, and that's going to be a top battle at the top. Keith Mayato's 27 points off of the lead in 3rd place, and he is sitting at 1.4 seconds ahead of our 2nd place driver, Damon Martinez. I haven't talked much about our 5th place points holder, Mr. Paul Crumry. PK, 2 laps down from the lead. He's holding down the 5th points position. He's just got to run a clean race, get as many points as he can, and he's still within striking distance for the season championship. Taking a look around the track, folks, our closest battle is that 1st and 2nd position. Keith Mayato right there in the 19 car, holding it down, bringing it into turn 1, followed 1.8 seconds back to Mr. Damon Martinez. That's your closest battle on the track for position. Damon seems to be chopping a little bit of time here and there off of Keith's lead, but on road course racing, some drivers are better at one technical part of the track. Other drivers are better at a different portion of the track. So I watch the timer. Like right now, Damon, he's a little better on the infield. But when we hit that straight and look at the drafting that Keith gets off of a lap car, Keith legs it back out for another 2/10. So certain portions, one driver's better than the other. We're just going to have to see who's going to push it and who's not. Everyone's got to make another stop by the looks of things. 21 laps to go. Here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, working the road course tonight. Top Fuel Racing Network, Byron Rodney in the air chair for ESBN, bringing you the action live. Look at a nice little pile up right there. Keith Mayato, our leader, getting ready to put someone else. Oh, Damon made it around him in that exchange. Let's see if we can catch an instant replay of that pass. Keith Mayato going into the corner right there, working traffic. Damon onto the inside. Just got the slingshot from the inside groove. Made a 3rd lane. Said, hey, make a hole, boys. Coming through. Out the way, coming through. Damon Martinez to the point. We got a tight battle right here, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Mayato, Damon Martinez. 1st and 2nd. Sage, he's a distant 4 seconds back, and Rick Ravon another 20 seconds back behind Sage. Boy, look at that, tight racing. Damon Martinez, Keith Mayato, Damon Martinez. You see the little twitch there. You see the little wiggle. Guys, tires are getting old. These guys are, working everything they can. Let's see if the draft will help as we come around the traditional part of the 1-2 backwards. Keith Mayato trying the outside. No joy there. Is he going to take it under braking entering turn 1? We'll have to take a look-see. Looks to be side by side coming straight at us. Damon Martinez holding down that lead. Takes it into turn 1 first. Hot on his heels, Keith Mayato. The guy that's got to be loving this battle going on back and forth is Sage Karam. He's rolling. He's chopping that time 2/10 into that time on the lap. But you know what? Like I said, we have a money stop to make. 19 laps to go in this thing. That's a lot of racing to do, but 3.5 seconds is a lot of time to make up. Well, we have a tight battle for the lead here, folks. Let's take a look from the inside of Keith Mayato's car. As we take a look at the roll bar GoPro that I put on there, let's see if he can catch him. He's going to use this part of the track and stay. Watch, he stays right in his tire tracks, working the draft. I mean, these cars punch a hole in the air. There he goes to the outside. See if he can make this pass stick going into turn 1. He does have the lead over. Oh, Damon works that inside. Oh, a little too hard on the brakes there, Keith. Damon stretching it back out. That was a close one, ladies and gentlemen. Keith all over the rear wing of Damon Martinez. Keith knows he's got, 27 points to make up on the points leader as Jeff Hollingsworth and Scotty Brinson battle it out tooth and nail. Jeff holding down the 11th position just outside the top 10. Scotty in 12th. What a battle. Here we come back out to the main portion of the track one more time. Let's see how far close Keith can make it up on the draft. No! Quick! Keith bringing it pit side. 18 laps to go. Oh, ho, 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 folks. Keith working that strategy. He knows those fresher tires are going to be faster. Damon's out there on 17 low lap tires right now. Keith's coming in for his money stop. Let's follow him on in. He's got to work his way all the way down. Oh, it's such a slow roll going down pit road. Car goes up. You don't see it there, folks, but there's a crew throwing 4 tires on fuel. That was what you call a money stop. 8.9 seconds. Got to be careful, Keith. Those are fresh tires until they come up on air pressure, until they get a little heat in them. They're going to be a little squirrely. We'll see where he cycles back out. Oh. He was able to get into those pits and get out. And if I'm not mistaken, that's Rick Ravon right there, right in the 3rd place, right behind him. Sage Karam falling back to 4th. He must be working those tires pretty darn... Nope, Sage, he went into the pits as well. Rick Ravon has yet to take it pit side for his money stop. Holding down the 3rd position. We're going to have to see where that cycles out. Cars are stretched out all over this track. Damon Martinez, by far, with the lead, but he is in the pits now. You see his car go down. We'll see him come back around. Oh, extended pit stop, folks. Did he catch a penalty on entry? Don't know what happened there. Damon Martinez, an extra long pit stop. Normally they're only 8 seconds, but if I take 8 seconds away from 23, that leaves 15. Yep, there was a pit violation there, 15-second hold. Oh, what a heartbreaker for your leader. As he cycles back out on the track, Keith Mayato's over in the infield. He's holding down your lead. 1.6 seconds behind him. There goes Mr. Rick Ravon, but Rick's got to bring it in pit side. 16 laps to go. He's been out there for 18. There's no way his tank is going to hold enough fuel for him to get there. He'll be on fumes soon, which is going to leave If I'm not mistaken and I'm reading this thing right, Sage Karam right there behind Rick Ravon, working to tail him. Sage has got fresh tires. Look for him to go right around Rick. Yeah, Rick gives him the position, knowing he's got the fresh tires, knowing he's got the run to get on up there to try and grab Keith. 2 seconds behind the leader. Money stops have been made. 16 laps to go. It's going to be a nail biter, folks. We'll be right back and bring you to the end of this thing. Back here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, folks, I want to take you back around because we had a lead change. Mr. Sage Karam, he got to Keith Mayato, got around him, but I want you to watch what happens here as he hits turn 1 and 2. You hear those tires lock up. He hit the brakes a little hard, and around he goes, folks, and back to the point Keith Mayato goes. Sage doesn't waste any time pointing it back in the right direction, but he's got another, you know, he fell back 4 seconds again. So that's twice he's taken the lead from Keith, and twice he's lost it. We got 13 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen, till we hit the end of this thing. Byron Rodney here in the ESBN broadcasting booth, sitting in the air chair, bringing you live racing action for the Top Fuel Racing League here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Road course racing at its finest. Your top 5 sitting out there on the course, Mr. Keith Mayato leading him around. 3.3 seconds back, Mr. Sage Karam mounting another charge, trying to chop back into that lead. Everyone's made their money stop. Pit stops are done, folks, for all your lead lap cars. Guys are out there giving it all it's worth. Damon Martinez falling back to the 3rd position after leading so many laps. Rick Ravon, another 32 seconds behind him. Rick, man, he's an aggressive driver when he's working that course, but it looks like the fresh tires were his friend, and the older tires are just not conducive to the way he's trying to manhandle the car around, make up some time. 5th place, 10 seconds back behind Rick, being held down by Chris Samard. Rest of your round out the top 10. Jeff Webker, Chris Walker, Michael Jeans, Paul Jourdain, Scotty Brinson into the 10th spot. Your points leader, rocking the ESBN Rated R Racing black paint job. Holding down that 10th position, cracked back into it. Jeff Hollingsworth, 48 seconds back. Oh, Jeff making a pit stop. Where will he cycle out? Shows him as 2 laps down now. Well, when you come out of those pits, look at that. Fresh tires, folks. We've seen it several times and we've heard it. Guys come out of them pits, they don't realize those tires are down on bare pressure. They're down on traction. They're not heated up. A little squirrely first coming out. It takes you about a lap to get them warmed up. As we see Jeff just taking a little too hot around there. But you've been out there on that track turning laps, you know, you hit your marks, You're used to going in at a certain speed, hit the brakes at a certain point, make your shifts at a certain point, up and down, get back on the throttle again. It's called hitting your marks. That's what we do many times over in a road course racing. And you get fresh tires on there, guess what, folks? You got to change those marks. Back up to your leader, Keith Maiato. Man, he's just been class of the field today. Started first, leading first, 40 laps led, 10 laps to go. Sage Karam, he's trying his best to chop into him. That is what 3 seconds looks like, folks, here at this track and here at this road course. And you see Damon Martinez coming around the corner back there. And I can't hold the camera angle that long, but it's 30 seconds back to your 4th place. So your top 3 are 6 seconds apart. We might have a race right here at the end. 10 laps to go. Checking my, oh, a little wobbly there for the, a little wobbly for my auto there. But I'm showing Sage as the leader. Oh! My auto spins her around. That will make Sage the leader. So I must be off of live. Let's go back to live. There we are. Now it's flip-flopped around. My driver to watch, Sage Karam, winning the race. Rocking the virtual racing school colors there. Drifting that car out wide on the turn to the infield straight. Brings it down, setting himself up for the left-hander. The right-hander, the left-hander. Oh, careful there, Sage. Legging it on out. 4.5 seconds ahead of 2nd place, Keith Maiato. Oh, what a heartbreaker that was for Keith. But it's also allowed our 3rd place, Damon Martinez, to catch up to Keith. You know, Keith's looking to make some points. Keith's looking to stay at the point of this race up at the top. Keith's 3rd place in points. He was 27 points off the lead coming into this race. Scotty Brinson, you know, he came in as the points leader, and only 4 points behind him was Jeff Hollingsworth. He's a driver that I drive with in various leagues and I've raced with. And you know what? He a better driver than me. Damon Martinez holding down your 3rd spot. So looking at your top 3, it's going to be a 3-car battle here for see who's going to leg it out for the last 8 laps on this thing. Our pit stops are done, folks. The only pit stop I see that still has yet to be made, that's going to have to be made before the end of this race. And this is, like I said, folks, the race within the race. Your points leader, Scotty Brinson, working lap 19 right now, which means he's going to have to bring it pit side to finish off those last 8 laps. Scoring in the 10th position, 1 lap down. Jeff Hollingsworth, 2 laps down in the 12th position, 42 seconds behind. So, when they go into pit lane, when they go to make that pit stop, it's about a 40 to 50 second. I've been watching them. They're about an average from the time they enter till they get their stop done and the time they exit, about 42 seconds. And that is the gap that Scotty needs to maintain over Jeff Hollingsworth to keep that 10th spot, maybe the 11th. There's 50. It'd be about it's about a minute 30 lead that Scotty's got on him. Does he elect to bring her pit side this time? Let's watch and see. No, keeps it on the track. Going to work lap 20 on those tires and that fuel. Man, he's stretching it for all he's worth. Local cautions only being the key at a road course, so he's not going to get the great equalizer and the caution flag on this one. Going back up to your leader, Sage Karam, 5.4 seconds ahead of second place. Keith Mayato. Closest battle on the track is your second place and third place right there. Keith Mayato and Damon Martinez. Keith trying to keep that second position. See him snake that straightaway, so he's trying to break the draft of Damon Martinez so he can't get that slingshot to get into turn 1 ahead of him. Oh, Damon brings it inside, tries to go in under braking. Nope, doesn't quite do it. Both drivers hold that corner as they go through the quick right, left, right. Followed by the double right. Oh, yeah, the gap. We have a race for second and third here, folks. 0.2 of a second right now on the clock separating them. Technical portion of the track. The driver that can work the technical portion a little better is going to catch the advantage on this. 6 laps to go. We only had the 1 caution on the first lap when we had the big pile up into turn 1. These drivers have yet to work some lap traffic. That may figure in on the who's going to hold first, second. You can see the rubber line around the track. Guys working that thing. As that rubber gets laid down on the track, it does change the way traction affects it. Oh, work that draft, work that draft. Who's going to catch it into turn 1? They bring her down side by side. Keith Mayato slots in behind Damon Martinez. Falls back to third. Thinking discretion might be the better part of valor. Let me hold that out. Meanwhile, your points leader, Scotty Brinson, just exiting the pits. Rolling it out. I want to see where scoring rolls him out because Jeff Hollingsworth, he made a pit stop about 4 laps ago. Scotty's still holding down by my scoring, holding down the 10th position. Jeff holding down the 12th. And a Jeff Sharp in between the two. Back up to the front of the pack, Sage Karam starting to just pull away a bit from the second place Damon Martinez. That battle cost Damon and Keith a little bit of time. And if we go back and take a look at it, they're not done fighting, folks. Keith's a hard competitor. He is not going to give up. Rick Raybon holding down your 4th spot all by himself, 41 seconds behind the second, third place battle. 5th place is 12 seconds behind him and Jeff Walker. That's your top 5. Let's get back to that Damon Martinez Keith Mayato battle. Closest competition on the track, folks. Second and third. Fifth and 6th. Have their own little race going on. Jeff Lubker, Chris Walker right behind him there. That's your 2 closest battles on the track, ladies and gentlemen. I'd have to go 3 laps down back to Mike Grandy and Cameron Mustaine. And that's an 8-second gap. So, closest battles on the track between 5th and 6th is 2nd and 3rd. Let's bring her back on to that battle with David Martinez and Keith Mayato. Damon holding that down. As we see a lap car go off track there. Who was that? Didn't quite catch the number on that. Scoring still focused in on Damon Martinez. Keith Mayotto battle. Damon stretching it out a little bit over Keith. 0.6 seconds. These guys not giving up. 3 laps to go, ladies and gentlemen. 3 more circuits around the Indy road course, and we're going to have a winner. And right now, sitting up on the top of the pack, there's Sage Karam. He's just got to hold a pretty wheel for 3 more laps, and it looks like it's his to lose. 6.5 seconds out in front of your second place, Damon Martinez, who has got Keith Mayotto all over his rear wing. Sage, I love you. I'll talk to you after the race, but I want to focus in on these two here. We got a race within the race, folks. It looks like Scotty Brinson's going to hold two-spot lead over Jeff Hollingsworth here for the points lead. But where Keith Mayotto figures out in points, I don't know. He's got a lot of laps led. He's he's set down the pole speed, and that's good for some bonuses if I'm not mistaken. So we'll have to see where that all shakes out. But Scotty Brinson and Jeff Hollingsworth right there. That's your first and second point battle. Only 4 points separating them coming into the race. Sage Karam still leading them around. 2 laps to go is what his spotters told him as he takes that for turn 1. Working that infield. Like I said, Sage, I love you. But 6 seconds behind you, I got a hell of a battle going on here, second and third. David Martinez holding down the second spot, followed hotly by Keith Mayotto. Keith is not giving up. He is going to hold it right back on there. Working the technical portion of the track, the inside. Damon just trying to hit his marks with worn tires, fuel getting low, car getting squirrely. Infield straight, bringing her on up to 160, 170 miles an hour. Rolling that high-speed left-hander. Last infield portion of the track till we can bring her back out to the main portion. As your leader comes back out right there, just coming around the corner. As he comes to the white flag. 1 lap to go. Final lap, folks. Sage Karam bringing him out. Damon Martinez and Keith Mayotto still hammer and tong, working second and third. Who's going to hold that second and third place? 5th to 6th battles stretched itself out big time. It's now turned into a 6th and 7th battle, but here's the race inside the race right here, folks. Second and third. Is Keith Mayotto going to be able to close it out on this final stage? They work the infield course. It looks like he's going to finish with the 3rd place. It looks to be Damon's race to lose for 2nd place right here. Sage Karam legging it out to a 6-second lead. They work the last bit of the infield portion. It's not going to happen. Sage Karam up on the last final bit. Coming across the finish line to bring home the checkers. Ladies and gentlemen, there he is right there. Mr. Sage Karam. There is your top finisher. Boy, I tell you what, that was a screamer of a race, ladies and gentlemen. Second came out, Damon Martinez. Rolling that out, finishing, and that would be Keith Mayotto in 3rd. Rick Ravon, man, held down that 4th position. He was up there battling for the lead. He was rolling it fine. Here's your results for the race. Sage Karam 1st. Damon Martinez is 2nd. Keith Mayotto holding down the 3rd spot. Rick Raven coming home in 4th. Jeff Rubker rounds out your top 5. Chris Walker, Chris Samard, Michael James, Paul Jourdain, and Scotty Brinson, your points leader, bringing her home in 10th. 12th would be Jeff Hollingsworth. Let's see if I can find Mr. Keith Mayotto. See if I can drag him on up. Have a little chat with him. I don't see him in here. Oh, there he is. Let's see if we can get a microphone in front of him. Bring him on up into the broadcast booth here. Folks, your third place finisher. Oh my God, Heartbreak City. Keith Mayato, how are you doing?
A little pissed off, I guess.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I saw that. It looked like a great battle that you had going there with Sage Karam, especially lap 23. We saw 23rd lap, Sage come up there and get under you under braking, but braking too hard, and you went right back by him. Saw it happen again, and oh man, was it just the tires, tire wear getting to you on that one?
No, that would have been Sam getting to me when he dove into turn 1 trying to take me out, and he ticked me off earlier in the season, and he just got in my head, and I guess he got what he wanted. He got Sage winning the race.
Oh, you talking the lap 1 pileup?
No, I'm talking like lap 40 or whatever it is, or 38.
Well, I'm sorry, we missed that one on the broadcast. I didn't see that, but yeah, we'll have to have a little chat with Sam about that one. But I noticed you made it through that lap 1 pileup, and they threw that caution in, and we had another restart on that thing. Other than the Sam incident, how would you categorize the race? You came in third in points. You're only 27 back off the lead, but you finished well ahead of Scotty and Jeff, who hold down the first and second spot.
Yeah, no, good finish. I'm happy that I was I don't know, I was just happy enough to even finish third there, even though I was leading the whole race. But I knew it wasn't fast enough to beat Damon and Sage, but I was hoping I can just hold them off. But all in all, top 3 podium finish. Good points today. I finished ahead of Jeff and Scott.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about tonight. You know, being road course racing and local cautions enforced, it was the race within the race that we were watching. And yeah, congratulations on a podium finish. Congratulations on making up ground on the points. A few races left. How you feel going into Chicago next week?
Usually pretty confident with 1.5 miler tracks. But anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can. Well, Keith, thank you for coming on up into the booth and talking to us. Congratulations on third place, and look forward to seeing you in Chicago.
That's what would happen to me on my old rig.
Oh,
like no bullshit.
Oh,
that's everything that
hello,
would happen to me.
Damon, how are you doing? Damon.
I
stole you. I stole you. This is what happens when you have a guy up in the control booth, doesn't give anyone fair warning when he's going to move them back and forth on the track. Ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher, Mr. Damon Martinez. Dude, we saw you get out there, lead some laps. We saw a bit of battling going on. After Sage got around you finally, you faded back, and then you had one hell of a race going on with the third place car, Keith Mayato. How would you describe it?
It was pretty good. Me and Sage started on the 10th row and just wanted to see how far up we could get. And I had the win. I had the win secured. Sage had gotten some damage on the first corner, passing Keith before I passed him. He had to pit early. I went in the pits with like a second or so lead, but I just went way too fast coming in and got a 15-second penalty.
Yeah, we noticed that because I was watching the pit timer on that, and I was telling everyone, folks, that's normally an 8-second, 9-second stop, and that was an extended one.
Yeah, I was pretty mad. I finally would have had a win over Sage, but yeah, I just made that rookie mistake, and then me and Sage just had pace on the field the whole night. I guess I had a little bit more on Sage. I just choked the win. Yeah, 5.9 seconds behind him is where you finished at, which is, starting from that 10th row back there. Oh my God, what a run! Yeah, the first lap, he got on the gas way quicker than me. He was willing to risk it in traffic in that first corner. I laid back, and then when the caution came out, me and him were like 6th and 10th, and I was like, oh God.
Yep. One question I want to ask you is, I saw it during the broadcast, guys going into pits, when they were coming out of the pits, that's a hard right-hander when you make that exit into the pits into turn 1. I was watching a lot of guys overdrive the first few corners. Were those cold tires that sketchy?
Not for me. Honestly, I felt pretty comfortable with the setup the whole time. I had just made some, just like, what's the word? Some adjustments to my setup, like my hardware. I just adjusted my pedals a little bit, somehow from Sage, and then I was just flying. I just felt way comfortable. And then I honestly thought the car was easy to drive the entire way. I had no issues at all.
Yeah, it was a good setup that was dialed into the cars for today. How do you feel going into the race in Chicago next week?
Hopefully I'll be able to be there. I'm not sure if I have to work yet, but hopefully I can make it. Try to win $10 or so next week.
There you go. We know all about work schedules. Trust me, I know. But look forward to coming back to this track where we're going to be working the front stretch in the right direction. And that is so weird, calling cars going into turn 1, 2. Don't take that 2-1 complex.
Yeah.
All right. Congratulations on the second place finish there, my friend. And I'm going to see if I can't steal a word with our race winner, Mr. Sage Karam. How are you doing, sir?
Good.
That was quite some driving there. We were watching you trying to make some passes there. Starting about the 23rd lap with, I saw you make that turn, pass into turn 1 and then just kind of overbrake it. Other than that, how was your race?
Well, the difficulties all started before the race, to be honest. I just drove 11 hours to Indianapolis from Pennsylvania. And so I took my computer with me, and I took my old pedals and my old wheel. So I brought my G27 and my like old V1 Fanatec pedals and one monitor. And I figured I'd see if like the Airbnb I was at had like a router or something I could plug my computer into and get some internet and come in to do the race. And I got here in time, but I got here during qualifying, so I didn't get any laps with this stuff, and I haven't driven these wheels and pedal in 6 years. So I didn't get to do a lap in qualifying. I started last, and what I didn't realize when I bolted the wheel onto this desk that's at this Airbnb is it has wheels on it. And so the whole race, the desk was like moving, and it was like tipping over, and I had to like hold it with the wheel while I'm turning kind of, and then the seat kept moving backwards, and I had to keep pulling it closer to the pedals every single lap on the straightaway. I mean, this was the craziest thing I've ever done.
I got to tell you, man, we were wondering what was happening. Oh, up here in the booth, I'm watching you because I've noticed you hold what I call you hold a pretty wheel normally. We could jump in your car, take a lap around the track with you, and everything is just smooth, doing what we call hitting your marks. But yeah, it looked a little different. I was wondering if it was the setup, the tires. You got into some quarters, and
I mean, I ran this setup and car like a couple days ago, and I was way quicker on my actual stuff, and I felt good. Like the setup wasn't that bad actually, and I liked it. And yeah, then I came here, and I just didn't have any practice. I'm sure if I had time to get used to everything, like towards the end of the race, I was actually doing some pretty quick times, but I'm just used to like a really stiff brake pedal, and this one is like really, really soft. So like almost like every time I hit the brakes, the front wheels would just lock up. And that's what happened when I tried to pass Keith that one lap. I just locked them and went straight. And when I went straight, I went over the exit curb, and it bent my left front wing. And that's why that whole stint I was like falling back. And then I had a good last stint until I spun, locking the brakes again. And fortunately, Keith made a mistake, and I was able to get back in front. I mean, I was catching him before he made his mistake. I don't know. It would have been close. I was like 3 seconds behind him when he spun there, and I was gaining like 3/10 a lap. So it would have been close if I would have been able to catch him. I don't know how many push passes he had left at that point. I only had 2. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. I'm just happy that I was able to race tonight, and I didn't really expect to be able to win. But
knowing what you do for a living and knowing what your schedule is in the month of May, I'm glad you were here for the race. It made for an entertaining broadcast. Let me tell you, to come from 20th position up to the point.
Yeah, I mean, the first lap was insane. I went from 20th to 6th, and I was like, holy cow, everybody just broke super early, and I was like, I just went right up the middle of everybody into turn 1. I was like, okay, thanks. And but yeah, I mean, that's a hell of a good way to start my month of May. Hopefully I can keep it rolling.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to you keeping it rolling. You're going to be racing with us next week in Chicago. Well, schedule permitting.
What's the date of that?
A week from today, we're going to be in Chicago.
The 15th?
I believe so.
Yeah, I might be able to make that. I got to see, because my first day on track is Tuesday, so I'll have Indy 500 practice Wednesday, and if I get home and I'm not shot, I'll hop on.
Well, good luck in the Indy 500, and look forward to talking to you again. Folks, that's your race winner, Mr. Sage Karam. Anyone you want to give a shout-out to?
Sorry. I'm eating some P.F. Chang's right now. I want to thank Kawanda. I learn so much from them every day in Discord and going on track with them. They teach me so much, setting up cars and getting better as a driver, sim driver, everything. They're great. I want to thank Scotty Brinson, TFR. I want to thank you up in the booth. ESBN. Who else? Oscar Bell Pedals, Sim Experience. These are all guys that work with me, so I gotta thank my girlfriend for allowing me to sim race and not coming in the room and killing me because I don't give her attention all the time because I'm in here all day.
Oh God, wait till you put a ring on the finger and call it married. I'll tell you stories.
Yeah, no, but I mean, and Damon Martinez and Rick Ravon was in our room tonight, so we were all just chatting, having a good time, and we were just having a lot of fun. It's always fun to come race in TFR, and things got a little rowdy in the middle of the race there for some guys, and there was a little screaming going on in the race room. But other than that, it was good fun.
Yeah, and it's a lot of fun broadcasting this league. I have a ball doing it. Well, thank you, Mr. Sage Karam, and we look forward to the next time you're here. That's your race winner, folks, Mr. Sage Karam. And let's see if we can go and grab. Let's see if we can go and grab somebody I want to get a talk to, because I'm sure that he's already figured the points up. Sorry to steal you like that. Mr. League owner, Mr. Race Control, Mr. Points Leader, Scotty Brinson, how you doing?
Oh, I've had better nights.
Yeah, we saw that. We noticed that. Bringing her home, though, you cracked the top 10 there at the end, albeit the first car 2 laps down, but you did manage to stay a lap ahead of Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth in the 12th position. Wanted to be curious, have you checked to see how the points shook out for this?
Yeah, I've updated it, and the drop week shifted around, and Jeff he gained 1 more point on me in this race, but it changed with the drop weeks, and he gained 3 points on me total in the standings. So he's 1 point back now, but my auto's the big news. He chopped off half the lead. He's down to 13, so ain't nothing I can do, man. These guys just keep stepping on my dick out here, and my dick's a little shriveled up pee-pee now.
Yeah, well, I heard that from a couple of drivers that I had interviews with. I guess the rumor has it there were some hard feelings about mid-race in there. And then tell me about that lap 1 pileup. I saw you off track several times there. Did you take that fast repair at the very beginning?
No, I actually, believe it or not, in both those crashes or incidents that I was involved in, I went in to use the fast repair. That was why I pitted and gave up I don't know how many spots doing it. I went in, it didn't even use the fast repair. There was no optional damage, nothing. So I'm guessing they probably changed the front wing, but
yeah,
that was all it was.
Front wing did get replaced. We saw because you were missing half a front wing after that lap 1 incident, and
I figured as much. I mean, I got whacked pretty good on the initial contact. It wasn't so much on the second one, but the first one I knew I'd probably lost a wing. But it's just frustrating at this point. This entire season, I was telling my teammates, I haven't been able to race this entire season other than a couple races. And in those, at Atlanta, I made my mistake on pit road. It cost me because we didn't have a caution. I was leading the race at Phoenix. I had led pretty much all the laps at Phoenix, was taken out by a lap car. And, it's just one thing after another. Tonight, lap 1 incident. And then, I get it going again. I've pissed off the whole race out there trying to make up spots. And, I know Dylan didn't mean to spin out in front of me, but it's just a number of one-offers, guys that come in and race every once in a while. And I've been getting hit by a lot of them this season. So it happened to me earlier in the season when another new guy had joined the league, and I think it was like 5 laps to go. That was the night of all the radio chatter. I know you remember that night, Byron.
Oh, I remember that night. I remember that night well.
I mean, these are all adding up. And if it continues from this point on, I'm going to lose my title. And I really didn't get a fair shake at it, in my opinion. But it's racing. That's life, I guess, right? But yeah. I told these guys tonight I'm not going down without swinging. So, if this is the way it's going to be, and then come next week in Chicago, you're going to see the Scott Brinson that used to race chase us, and we're used to bang off each other and bang wheels and knock each other into the wall. That's the kind of racing it's going to be for these last 4 races. So, game on.
Yeah, well, the last 4 are going to be a privilege to broadcast. It's going to be interesting to see how the the finishing goes. And
everybody better leave their panties at home because I'm not bringing my skirt to the dance.
There you go. You've heard it, folks. That's your league owner. That's your points leader right there. Big shift. You heard it, man. Keith Mayano.
It's one thing to get out raced for it, but when you've been demolition derbied all season, and it's not only that, my sour attitude is not just directed towards that. It's all the off the track stuff too that I have to deal with. It's just continuous and it never stops in that sense. It hasn't been fun in a while, as Damon Martinez shouted out during the race, that this league used to be fun, and it hasn't been fun for me or a lot of other guys for quite a while. Yeah, so,
well, as the owner of a league myself, that's currently going through the same issues, I can feel with you, and I can tell you, folks, the league. It looks like it's running smooth on the surface. That's because all the turbulent water that we as a league owner have to go through underneath the surface to keep it smooth up top for everybody else. And Scotty, I just want to thank you for the work that you put into it. A lot of people take it for granted that it's just easy to do one of these, but I know that you probably got 3 days worth of messenger messages that you've got to put out fires after a race. And I know how a season could go. I had all last season, if there was an incident on the track, I caught a vehicle to the face. I just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. So anyway, Scotty, it's fun to broadcast this race. Anyone you want to shout out to?
Oh, yeah, I just want to first off say hello to my girlfriend. I don't know if she's watching or not, but I love you very much, honey. I know things have been tough for you at work here lately with things that happen at work, but just know that I'm proud of you and that I love you. And we're making the best of it here in Tennessee. So sorry if my attitude has been a little sour lately. It's been a big adjustment coming from something I've known for 35 years and coming to from the fast-paced city to the slow-town life. That hasn't been easy on me either. But I love you very much, and we're going to get this thing turned around, Byron. I just want to thank you. And also, there is another person. I want to thank you for covering for somebody tonight, and that someone is Tony. And if Tony's listening, Tony, I just want you to know, give me a call, man. I've been trying to get in touch with you, trying to see how you're doing out there. I know that you've been down on your luck and things haven't been good on top of your health. So, but as your friend, we're concerned about you, man. So reach out and get in touch with me if you're listening.
Yep.
And Byron, thanks for covering for Tony. I know he couldn't be here tonight.
Yeah, it's a privilege to cover your guys' races, even though, this race went by quick. But, ladies and gentlemen, there was your league owner. There was your points leader, league owner, Mr. Scotty Brinson. And
congratulations to Sage Karam, too, for winning the race. Let me get that in there.
Oh, yeah. He made an epic run. He started 20th on the field. After that turn 1 melee, he was in 6th position and just rolling it out from there. Ladies and gentlemen, Top Fuel Racing, brought to you by the ESBN, Esports Broadcasting Network. My name is Byron Rodney. Top Fuel Indy Series, we're moving on to Chicago next week. We'll be there for all of that. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. My name is Byron. I am out of here.